What's going on YouTube? I am JohnPon09 and today we are going to be talking about the Elgato Stream Deck. What is it? Do I need one to be a good streamer? Those questions and more will be answered in today's video about the Elgato Stream Deck. Today we're going to be talking about specifically the basic features of the Elgato Stream Deck, what it offers for your stream. We're going to be familiar with the basic setup by the end of this video, and you're going to have enough information to decide, is this device right for me, and is it worth purchasing one for my streaming setup? So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. First, I'm just going to show you the software for the Elgato Stream Deck. So you can download the software from Elgato's website, and basically it's a plug and play. So once you plug in the device to your computer, it's a USB outlet. You just plug it right into a USB plug port in your computer, and then you're gonna have a blank screen. Obviously mine is already these are already my buttons, so each square here represents a button on the device. Essentially what the Stream Deck is just a MIDI controller for your computer. So if you've done any type of work in like a digital audio workstation like Pro Tools or something like that, you may be familiar that you can get a MIDI controller basically and have a physical button to fire commands in those softwares, or sounds, different things. Basically this is the same thing. The Stream Deck is just a controller that allows you to assign buttons to specific actions for your computer. Now that all sounds pretty complicated, but I promise Elgato has made this super simple to set up. It's gonna be easier really. So what you see here, again, it's drag and drop. You're gonna start off with just a blank slate here. You won't even have this navigation. This will be your first page basically. Now to our right here, we have all the pre-built, I guess, functions that come with the software. So already right out of the box, the Elgato is going to be able to implement with several different apps, including Streamlabs Desktop, Twitter, Twitch. OBS Studio is the main one that I use. Twitch Studio, Philips Hue Light if you have a gateway for your lighting. So I have Philips Hue Lights behind me. I don't have them on a gateway just because it's just 2 light bulbs, but if I wanted, I could get that and be able to control it with the Elgato as well. But there are tons of features that come with this already. The majority of things that I see streamers use the the Stream Deck for are sound effects and controlling OBS. So OBS has a number of functionalities that we'll go through, but first I just want to show you the soundboard, how easy it is to actually add an audio clip. So literally you just go over here to the right side of the navigation, we see soundboard, and we have 2 options, play audio and stop audio. If we just drag and drop this play audio into a button, all you have to do, that creates a button on the physical Stream Deck. Now all you have to do is click on File, choose an MP3 or MP4. You see all the file types here actually. .mov, MP4, .wave, all of these options. You just need an audio file basically. Click on it, it uploads it right here. I would suggest creating a folder for this if you're gonna have a lot of them so they're just all in one place. You give it a title, and there's a couple options here. You can fade it at the end. You can tell it whether to stop or play or loop. I don't know why you would want to loop a sound effect, but in case you do. And then you can adjust the volume here. So for instance, on the sounds that I've already added, these are all my sound effects that I'm using right now for my stream. That's What She Said is a classic. So if you click on one, once it's uploaded, you can see the title, you can see the file where it is on your computer stored locally, and you can adjust the volume. I've noticed in my experience that these are all really quiet, and so pretty much all of them I have the volume maxed out, and part of that probably has to do with the desktop audio setting that I use for OBS. My desktop audio is a little bit quieter, so that's going to affect these sounds as well as you're playing them during stream. So the cool thing is, once you have these set up, literally it's just a button that's sitting here on the Stream Deck. You can press that.
That's what she said.
at any point. You don't have to be in a game or have OBS open. You can have it minimized. You just press that button and the sound fires or the action fires, whatever you're trying to do. So the next thing that I want to look at real quick are the OBS features. So especially obviously if you're a streamer, and you use OBS, this is going to be really good for you. Just to see all of the functionality that's already here. I knew some of the features of the Stream Deck before I bought it, but I really didn't realize how robust specifically the OBS options were. So you can record. These are all buttons that you can choose from. Replay buffer is one that I use. So for mine, I just have the replay buffer. Again, you just drag and drop it. You give it a title. I named mine Clip It, and then that's it. So now when I press this button on my Stream Deck, I'm able to record it basically fires the command in OBS for your replay buffer. So in my case, it's the last minute. I press this button on the Stream Deck and automatically the last minute of my stream is saved to a clip in the folder that I've designated. Very handy if you're a gaming streamer. Specifically on PC, because your PC game is obviously going to lock your mouse. And so if you're trying to clip something or go back to OBS, it's really, really helpful to have this Stream Deck because you can press that button and it doesn't affect the gameplay. It doesn't take away your mouse, any of that. You don't have to tab out. So it's super seamless and helpful. Also, a really important thing that you can do with the OBS functions is set a scene. So up here, I have all of my scenes. This JC for just chatting, PC Sweat, that's my gameplay capture option. The reaction scene that we're on now is my desktop and a face cam, my end screen, and then the full face cam that you saw at the beginning of the video. So you can seamlessly just be able to switch scenes without being in OBS. So if you're in the middle of the game and for some reason you want to go to a just chatting screen or full face or any other scene that you have in OBS, it's literally just pressing a button and it'll automatically transition to that scene. And then when you're ready to go back to the gameplay, you can press that scene to go back. So super, super useful. I really enjoyed that feature a lot. Although I don't use it a ton, like as I'm playing, I do use it every single stream as I'm doing the intro and getting stream ready, things like that. Depending on your stream, obviously that's gonna vary. And just all these other options as well. So source visibility. I also have like multimedia functions. So these two at the bottom, this one is a subscribe button and this one is a kick follow graphic. So if I unhide this one, that's the kick follow graphic that comes up when this button is pressed. And you'll notice on here, the button lights up. So when you press it, it lights up and it has the stop button. If I was to press it again, it'll stop immediately whenever I press it. Same thing with the audio cues. And then when it's finished playing, the button will not be lit up anymore. It'll still be lit up, but it won't be lit up the same, if that makes sense. So essentially what you're seeing on the screen is exactly how the button looks on the physical device as well. Which again is really nice because with more buttons to be able to custom label them so that you know what everything is and remember what everything is super helpful. Then the last functions that we'll look at are just the navigation functions for the Stream Deck itself. So you notice the arrows here at the bottom. I have 2 pages right now of sounds and scenes. Well, I added a third one while we're in here, but these under the navigation, you can also do like a previous page, next page, go to page, page indicator. You can have different functionality for the Elgato itself built in. So having these arrows here at the bottom is super helpful. And I just added another page. That's literally how easy it is though. I just added another page. It's really just click and play. Elgato, they did a really good job designing the software and making it extremely user-friendly. Even a boomer could set this up. It's easier than getting on Facebook. It really, really is. So I guess now it's time to talk about the cons of the Elgato. I've been kind of hyping it up, and this is by no means a paid review of the device. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. The biggest cons of this device, number one is the price. So right now it's on Amazon for $149.99. We'll call it $150. So for $150, it is kind of an expensive device. I mean, that's more than I spent on really anything for my streaming setup other than my PC. You know, it's more than I spent on my microphone, the webcam, So it is a pretty good expense. So that's one thing to weigh, especially if you're just starting out, if you're not really sure how long you're going to be streaming or how seriously of a hobby you're going to take it. Definitely the cost is, kind of prohibitive. I didn't have one for the first almost year that I was streaming. I'm really glad that I got one now that I'm streaming more, making more content. It has been very helpful. But if you're just starting out, the cost may be a little bit prohibitive, unless you're just balling like that. And in that case, you do you. The second con is the fact that you are supposed to be plugging this into a USB directly into your computer. I stream off of a gaming laptop, so I only actually have 2 USB ports. So that makes it quite a challenge because of all the peripherals that you need for streaming. So right now I have a USB hub plugged into one of those ports, and that has 10 ports. And then I have my face cam plugged into the other USB. Now, sometimes there's been a little bit of connectivity issue with the Elgato because you are supposed to plug it in directly to a USB port. So the only issue that I've seen with it is sometimes when the computer turns on, or basically it'll not connect always when I first turn the computer on, or if the computer is asleep and I bring it back up, the Elgato won't connect. So I'll have to unplug the USB that's going to the USB hub and then plug it back in, and then it connects. So I haven't had any problems with it while streaming using it on a USB hub, even though they say specifically not to. But that's just one thing to consider. If you can plug it in directly, if you have a tower and you have multiple USB plugs, the best the best option is to just plug it directly in. But if you have a USB hub, I have a really good Anker USB hub, and I haven't really had any issues outside of that occasional connectivity issue. But other than that, there's really no cons. It just depends, is this right for your setup? Are you using multiple scenes when you stream? Do you frequently like changing between one scene to another, or do you pretty much just stay on one scene the whole time? And are you going to be using sound effects in your stream? The one negative I'll say about the sound effects, and I try not to do this, is especially if you choose, some sound effects are just going to be annoying to people. That's just the bottom line of it. And if you over abuse these sounds, it can be a turn off to your audience. So that's one thing I would caution you with. Even if it's not an annoying sound clip to you, somebody out there will be triggered by it. And for that person, if you overuse that sound, is really going to turn off your content to that person, which is another reason why I'm glad that they're a little bit softer on my stream volume wise than the other sounds, because if somebody is annoyed, at least it's not super loud. That's the other main negative that I have, is so far I haven't really found a way to change the volume on the sound clips versus the overall volume of the desktop audio. So that's kind of one limitation that it has, and something to keep in mind. But other than that, overall, if you like streaming, and especially if you're a PC streamer and you're going to have your mouse, locked onto the game, you're going to have to tab out to be able to access OBS or something else on your computer. This is a really great way and a great solution to be able to avoid having to tab out of your game or be interrupted and still be able to do the content functions that you want. So overall, I would really recommend it. It is kind of a pretty penny, so keep the cost in mind as well. But I love the Elgato. Would I buy it again? 100%. Overall, out of all the streaming equipment that I have, it is one of my favorite tools. And, if I had to give it a rating, I would give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. Elgato really did a good job with this one, and the software interface is super easy to use and very user-friendly. If you enjoyed this video, I would definitely appreciate a like. Comment if you have any questions. I answer all of my comment. I definitely appreciate a subscribe as well. I have many other videos about OBS and streaming in this playlist, if you could check those out as well if you're interested. Other than that, we will see you on the next one. Hope everybody has a fantastic week. Peace.